Hello, everybody. My name is Damilare Mike David, and known as Mr. REGEN. It's another session of Sex Uncovered for Mr. and Mrs. This is brought to you on the stable of REGEN Relationship Clinic, an arm of Recovered Generation REGEN that focuses on love life, relationship, marriage, and the marriage sphere of REGEN Relationship Clinic has brought Sex Uncovered for Mr. and Mrs. to every married individual. And today we're going to have a swell time. This is a ministry that God has committed into the hand of my humble self and my wife, Olabisi David. And we are so honored to be used by God for this generation family. And you can follow us on our various social mechanisms, especially the common ones: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow me with the username Damilare Mike David and my wife Olabisi David. And I can promise you that you're gonna have a beautiful time today. The topic we are treating today says watering the ground. We have taken the chat session of this discussion on our WhatsApp group. Why we cannot admit many of you that are trying to reach us is that the group is almost filled up. We are working on building the private Telegram group. We're just trying to work on the privacy because of the sensitivity of these groups and what we discuss. So we want to be sure we're admitting the right set of people. And while we build that, in the meantime, you can join our Facebook group. It's also a private group, which means it's only the members that can see the content and the fellow members. So you can use the username REGEN Sex Uncovered. Just type REGEN Sex Uncovered on Facebook, or maybe from your Facebook application, or you can space it REGEN REGEN Sex Uncovered, or you can type them together. But if you want to use a browser, you can use the URL www.facebook.com/groups/REGEN Sex Uncovered. Again, www.com/groups/REGEN Sex Uncovered. So we're going to have a beautiful time today. As much as I'll try to be fast, I will try as much as possible not to miss out the important details. So, watering the ground. I know that many of us at one point or the other would have heard this proverb. In Yoruba it says, "Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ tẹlẹ̀ tútù, ó máa da omi síwájú." That is, someone that wets the ground automatically walks on a cold surface. Or if you want to walk on a cold ground, you need to wet the ground. And the same way this applies to our sex life. As couples, we're expected to wet the ground before love making. And what this is expected from both the man and the woman, which means both the woman and the man, they are both expected to water the ground of love making. Now, saying water the ground of love making, I don't mean that you need to pour water on your bed sheet. No. I'm just trying to use a form of a proverb to explain what I mean. So let me just reframe the adage now. For the purpose of this teaching, I will say, he who waters the love-making ground steps in a cold ground of sexual pleasure, or on a cold ground of sexual pleasure. That is, if you actually want a very pleasurable time, which means you must make preparation. That is what this actually means. So going to the next slide. Now, let's look at it from other angle. Consider a farmer who is about cultivating the land. He waters the ground so that it becomes so soft for him to plant whatever seed, which is essential to the seed growth. This also softens the ground, especially for a very hard ground. It's just self-explanatory, trying to buttress my point from the previous slide. That is, what a farmer does. Why do a farmer need to water the ground before he plants? It makes what? Number one, The ground needs water to also survive. It's a form of nutrition to the ground. Every living thing needs water. Human being needs water. Plants need water. So the same way, a farmer that understands this knows that he needs to water the ground, feed the soil, and at the same time is an opportunity for you to soften the ground. So that is another illustration. Now, going further, now let's bring this home. What it means is preparing for sex before sex, preparing for lovemaking before lovemaking takes place. That is, saying this, it means that before you have a good sex, or if you ever want to have a good lovemaking, you must prepare for it before you go into the act. So it does not, you don't need to wait until you are in the act. There's no way you can have a good lovemaking as couples when you start it or when you're already into it. Even whatever that comes into your mind as a new innovation, something that you feel you need to do in the process, well, it can feel good, but it may not be at the best of it, unlike something you have really prepared for. So have it at the back of your mind that if you want to have a good love life, it must start even long before you go into the act itself. So many times, many of us have difficulty in getting ready for sex, and we can't totally blame ourselves due to a lot of the things that make it impossible to get prepared for sex, resulting in boring sex, painful sex, or sacrificial sex. Let me just quickly explain. I know that there are still a few words on the but let me just explain that first paragraph. We're talking about, we say many of us really want to prepare for a good love making, a good sexual time out with our partner, that is our wives and our husbands, but somehow we find out that we are unable to meet up. And because I said it that sex can always be spontaneous, most of the time you need to prepare for it. But some things are not giving us the opportunity to really have a good time to prepare for sex. And as a result of that, sexual intimacy either becomes boring, which means you do the same thing all over again, and you don't look forward to it. Even when you are doing it, you're tired already. And the next time your spouse, your husband or wife says, I would like to make love to you, or tries to make an approach, you're already lost. You have lost interest even before everything begins. And that's the boredom that comes with it. The painful sex, like this, when you don't prepare. I can tell you, sex can become painful, especially for women. You know, there are some women that you really need to prepare them, either with words, either with gifts, either with good acts of service. All these things you're going to check in the course of this teaching, training, coaching, or whatever we want to call it. And for a woman like that, if she does not have enough time to really, number one, get herself mentally ready from her mind, she may not enjoy it. And getting ready also means she may need to be naturally wet. As much as we advise people to use lubricants, we can't deny the fact that lubricant may not be able to do exactly what natural lubricant, the one God has made, can do. Yes, lubricant will try, but not as much as what the natural wetness will do. You know, even at some points, lubricant can also dry off. And at the same time, it can lead to sacrificial sex. So which one is sacrificial sex? You're not really interested, pain is involved, but you just want to do it because you want to fulfill your marital bargain, your marital promise, because you've seen sex as one of the things you need to deliver as a husband, as a wife. It's a matrimonial duty, but you are not really ready, you are not interested, but you just want to give it out. But you can't keep making sex sacrificial every time. Yes, as much as we know that sometimes sex may be sacrificial. I think I've taught this thing in one of our teaching, but one day we will dwell basically on that too. So, for example, a big city as Lagos is a very good example, where people, as a result of hustling and bustling, become so tired by the time they get back home at night, and as a result of this, they are already worn out. Imagine a man spending about 3 hours in traffic, his wife is still waiting for him to come and fulfill his marital duty. How would he, naturally, on a good day, You understand? A man that is coming all the way from Aja and is going to Ikotun, or from Lekki is still going to Badagry. His wife is waiting for him. Maybe the woman is really honey. She wants to be satisfied by the man, and the man is still far away. Both of them are at disadvantage. Number one, the man is already tired. He may not be able to give his own potential when he gets home. He may not even be able to eat, not to talk of making love. You understand? And even the woman will be tired of waiting. Maybe at that point she was so horny, she has prepared herself, and the longer it takes, boredom or something else can distract her, and that desire starts to wear out gradually. Or even before she gets home, the man gets home rather, the wife might have slept off, and waking up a woman that is already deep into sleep, even if she wakes up, it may not be as good as when she was still waiting for you, when she was totally ready. Do you understand? So that is the challenge we have. Many people really want to enjoy it, but our environment does not just support it naturally. So what is watering the ground? The way you make yourself available, make yourself interested, put yourself in the mood before you get into the action. Now, I'll be sharing a few tips on how we can actually water the ground. This is very, very applicable to both men and women. So that's basically what we'll be touching tonight. But you need to make yourself interested. You need to make yourself available. Yes, you may not be able to do so much about your environment as much as we advise people. Even sometimes when you are thinking about, oh, I need a cheap house. Yes, I make small salary. But you are spending so much on transportation. You are worn out. Do you know that logically the amount we even spend on buying analgesic, treating our body as a result of the stress that come with going up and down, by the time you calculate it annually, you would now see that it's better you rent accommodation right closer to your office and you pay a little bit more. In fact, at the end of the day, you are even paying more. You're paying less on your accommodation. You're paying a little bit more on drugs and other ways to get yourself away from stress. And at the same time, you're not able to fulfill your marital obligation. So, as much as these things may not be able to go away, we may not be able to totally control environment, does that now mean we should give in to things that will not allow us to enjoy sex? No, totally. Hell no. So we now need to look for a way to overcome this. And that's what would again basically mean. That is, getting yourself interested, getting yourself available, no matter what the hindrance may be or may want to be. This seems to be number one. Now we're going into those things. Number one, love notes. Love notes. It's from those ancient style, back then when we were still in school, you want to write the days of love letter. You may not be able to even give the letter to somebody. You sneak it into that girl's bag, or you send a friend to give it to her. And this still applies very well in my marriage in preparing for lovemaking. So it means that if you have wooed your wife back in school with love notes, it does not mean that you need to stop there. You need to really continue about this. So I think we get that. Now, this seems to be an ancient or old way of getting ourselves along, but did you know that many times, even when we pretend not to be interested in such a thing, it keeps passing its constant message across. For example, as a woman, you want your husband to give you the best sex ever this Friday night. Okay, today is actually Saturday, but let me say this Saturday night. But it doesn't take it seriously. Why not write a small note or make it in form of a design on a very small cardboard and sneak it into the pocket of a suit or pair of trousers that he'll be wearing to the office? Make sure you put it somewhere that he'll be able to easily discover it when he gets to his office. You get what I'm saying now? Sometimes, we've talked about, I think I've taken us about boredom. I'll try to break all these things in subsequent teaching instead of modeling them up. When you keep demanding for sex, maybe there's a way you need to make your husband or wife know that you are in the mood when you keep using that same method, at a point, the man, the woman will get used to it, you understand? Even if you are so bold that you can ask your wife, your husband, baby, I need you. I need you to satisfy me sexually, or you want to be raw. Please, let's get down, let's make love. Whatever terminology you may want to use, I've given us some hints in some of our past teaching. Now, when you keep using that all over again, it becomes a norm. The man or the woman does not become excited by those words again at a point. Familiarity sets in. So at this point, what do you now do? You need to go for something else. That's why we introduce love notes. Just write it. Baby, I'm money for you tonight. Please don't stay late. Now, what you have actually written in that letter is no different from what you always say. But the medium makes the difference. It makes a kind of reoccurrence in the subconscious. When you say it, okay, I've heard you, it goes out, and you may not even think about it again. But do you know that if he eventually discovers it in his suit, in his pocket, he may keep bringing it out. I can bet it with you, the man may not even hear it. He will keep it somewhere. After about 2 hours again, he will read it again. Because the medium is what? Is different. You understand? But just try it out, even if you feel it's not going to work. Just imagine your husband brings out that letter from his pocket and reads something like this. Baby, I will be honey for you tonight. I can't wait to have you. I bet those words will mean more than you said in it, because it's already used to your words. Familiarity may not make your words count, but this new approach will. What I just explained. In fact, he won't tear the paper so easily. He would keep them in his pocket and bring it out to read it at intervals. You see what I just said? So the medium has changed. The medium will automatically give a stronger meaning to your content. You understand? And for people that are shy, you just see what I just read now. Baby, I would be honey for you tonight. Many people don't have the effrontery to say such a thing. You understand? Many people don't have the ability to say it. So writing it in a note may actually make a difference. Maybe your husband, your wife is tired of those old school method of getting your message across. He wants you to be raw, and you are still trying to build your confidence. You don't have the liver yet. So if you're still trying to build your liver, that is a good opportunity. Write it out, and I'm telling you, don't dally. Don't waste time. It's going to be a very good approach, and you will see how much it's going to work out. Now, the second one, short message service. That's what we call SMS. Another way that looks like the first using text message, just like you are writing a letter, is just like the other medium I just explained to us. The similarity is that you're passing a message across, you understand? But now you're using an electronic format. Instead of letter, you're using an electronic short message service. It takes initiatives, but this is an electronic form. This is ideal. Sorry, I wanted to write ideal. This is ideal for a woman whose bag is so big that she won't find your letter, or a man that can even forget money inside his pocket. Apologies, I don't mean to be rude. I used to joke with my wife that our bag is a 3-bedroom flat. And sometimes you may just be looking for something that is in front of you. You will not know that it is in the boys' quarter, just by the right. So I'm just trying to be funny. So for a woman like that has a very big bag, a bag with many compartments, and if you throw the letter there, the letter will be lost till our auntie is ready to do sanitation. So SMS will definitely work out, because if your man does not even look into his pocket and auntie will not see it in the bag, they can never be too busy to look at their phone. You know, people are getting so much used to phone, and if you're not careful, it can become a lifestyle. People will always look at their phone, so they will definitely want to look at their chat, their messages. So this is a good way of overriding the first approach if you feel your man or woman may not be a letter person, or he may be too busy to use those mediums to actually read what you want to pass across. So that is a very, very good way. Number 3, conserve your energy. Conserve your energy. Conserve your energy. What does this mean? You already planned for the night. You should plan to give your best. Love making requires physical, mental, and emotional engagement. There's no way you can give your best without an active physical session. That is, you need to trust in, you need to dance around, you need to do some riding, you need to do some swinging. So you may want to save your energy. I'm not talking to men alone, no, so that we not think that it's only men that are meant to do the dancing, the jumping. Everybody needs to be active. In fact, it's an issue for many men that they don't like it when their wives don't participate. Sex is not the duty of a man. If both men and women are supposed to enjoy sex, then both men and women are supposed to participate. So, because you know that's going to be a bit energetic, you need to save your energy. So, this is not the day to engage an unnecessary strength task, draining task, I mean. A task that will drain your strength. If it's not really important, don't go for it. You understand? One survey found that sexually inactive couples were prone to feelings of sadness and felt unattractive. Disappointing your partner in bed is not good when it is something you can afford. So you can have something that you can avoid. If it is not very, very important, you may want to avoid it. Yes. If it is avoidable, please. It is not mandatory that you must drain your energy, especially when you know that you want to have a good time that night. So, on that we're saying, conserve your energy. And that leads us to another point that looks more like it, which says, conserve our energy. You know the other one I said, conserve your own energy. But this time around, I'm saying, conserve our energy, which means this is basically talking to our men. I just said it. We men, we don't want our wives to just lie down there, to just be thinking, counting the number of asbestos that are there. We want them to actively be participating, which means that a woman does not need to be under all the time. She may want to be on top sometimes, if possibly be in the middle. But at the same time, if you want her to give you the best in bed as much as possible, which means you must be ready to conserve her energy. I've told you, conserve your own energy. You must not go further to conserve your energy, our own energy. And how do I mean? For men, just as it sounds, as the inverse of 0.3 above, but towards a common goal. Other ways that you can get the best out of your partner to love making or about watering the ground is by helping her out. How? Women who have so much to do may not give the best in bed. When she's tired, you want her to also be active. If she's tired, she cannot. Especially in this present world when women are doing a lot of things. Yes, you may want to say men do very vigorous work, but you know the world is changing. Men are doing as much as men are doing. Yes, one task a man is doing may be tougher than 2 or 3 of what a woman is doing, but we can't deny the fact that women do a lot. They need to do a lot of things, especially in this part of our world when we believe that most of the domestic costs lie in the hand of the woman. You understand? And we need to now get this mindset away from our head. There is no job a woman cannot do. You understand? So if you want her to give you the best in bed, which means you need to really help out to ease her stress, like cleaning the dishes, doing laundry, prepare the kids, you can directly help her with some of these tasks. That is, your wife needs to wash the plate, you to help her to wash the plate while she's washing the clothes. You understand? Or while she's preparing, while she's trying to prepare the food, the kids' food, you can help her to dress for the kids. You understand? Or you may help her indirectly. That is, get machinery to help with whatever may be draining her strength. For example, washing clothes is a big deal now, especially for people that may want to, that are working class, especially for women that are working class, men that are working class. You wake up early in the morning around 5 a.m., you're coming back by 9 p.m., and you still want to wash clothes, and you still expect that same woman to give you the best in bed, especially for those that have just given birth, that they need to actually wash baby clothes almost every day. So how may you need to help her out? Get machinery, that is, get some machines that will do the job, like get a washing machine, get a dishwasher, get a blender. Even if you are comfortable with it, you may need to get house help. Let there be a mutual agreement about this, so that most of the things that would drain her out when you want to make love with her have been taken care of either by a machine or by a substitute, a human being, maybe by, that is, a house help or somebody. Even if you're not comfortable with getting a permanent house help, you can get somebody that will actually come, do those jobs and go. You understand? That person will just come and clean the house, wash plates, what this, and the person, you pay the person and the person goes. If you're not comfortable with getting somebody to live in your house, but you are saving your wife of the stress of being useful for you in bed, making you happy in bed, and at the same time to be attractive, because when she keeps doing a lot of things, there's possibility that she could age early. And you know, there are other natural or biological factors that makes women to age earlier than men. One of them is menstrual cycle as a result of blood that's been lost, the stress of giving birth, and now coupled with this domestic cause that our tradition, our belief system have brought into our marriages. So, but I want us to just take your marriage away to work for you. There's nothing a woman can do in the house that a man cannot do. Do you understand? And it will make your bed a very beautiful one. Now let's go to the next slide. Number 5. This is typical example. This typical example applies to me, and it has worked for my wife and I. So, and I'll be sharing some personal experiences. And that's what I'm saying. You need to be creative. Creativity is very, very important. Creativity is very, very important. And how do I mean? I remember a particular time, despite I was working in a bank, I came home very early than usual, and I looked for things my wife would want to do when she comes back from the office, and I quickly did them, like wash the plate, mop the floor. In fact, I went as far as making dinner that night. Maybe number 1, selflessly to reduce her stress, and number 2, selfishly to allow her to give me the best in bed. So, which means that I was not that nice. Don't say, don't go and compare me to your husband, though. I was doing it out of selfishness, and I was doing it out of selflessness. You understand? So I did it selflessly to help her to save her stress. And number 2, selfishly, so that she will be strong enough for me in bed that night. Yes, I already knew something was going to happen. So let me continue. I would have explained to you, but let me just continue to make it use word for word. And I'll be stopping on this slide because I wouldn't want our teaching to be beyond 30 minutes, which means there will be a second part of this teaching, and I can promise you, you will get it by next weekend. So let me finish this interesting story. A very sweet one, and it's a good note to end it, and we're going to be starting from that note from the next one. I did not even inform her. I did everything I needed to do, and when I heard her drove in, and it was time for me to step it up. Now, this was my own creative idea. You may not be able to do it though. I'm not saying you should do it though. You understand? But this was the way I became very creative. So how? Definition in my own terms. Creativity is about bringing on unusual things into your love life. Things that would definitely wow your partner. You know, we are number 5, which is creativity. So I'm trying to define the creativity in my own terms as it relates to this discussion. Now, connecting this, when I had her driving, I quickly went into the bedroom and wore her pants. Wow. I shouldn't be showing my face right now, but if I'm surprised, look at my face. Wearing my wife's pants, crazy. Yes, but that is your own definition. It was fun to me. Because I wanted to do something unusual, and I needed to be creative, and I wanted to put her in the mood. At least I've done the things that would stress her out. I've done them. I've taken them away from the mood. Now, let me now take care of my own selfishness. So I wore my wife's pants. Yes, I can say it. I wore my wife's pants. At least it's my wife, it's not your wife. So if you can't wear your wife's pants, fine. But if my wife can wear my boxer too, I won't even mind if she does. At least if she puts it on, she'll be sexy on it for me. Don't mind. I've taken my face away. So now let's go. I didn't mean shorts, pants. Pants. Sounded like madness, right? Yes. Madly creative. I was madly creative. Mad love it is. Yeah, you can play with those emojis. So I put on my wife's pants only when she knocked the door. I opened the door. My wife saw me in her pants. She was dazed and speechless because she, number one, she was, as in, I was only putting on her pants. You know how it would mean now. Something, just imagine yourself as a man in my shoe. How would you look? I'll not tell you the kind of man it is. But how would you look in your wife's pants? Now, just imagine your husband putting on your pants and he opens the door for you. And in fact, she did open the door. She never knew I would come because normally she comes home before me. So she opened the door and I was already waiting and she was shocked. I was like, wow, what's this? So it was very funny, but I was being creative. And at the same time, because you could see our kitchen directly from the entrance, so she was able to see everything I'd done. That I'd washed all the plates, I'd already prepared food. So she saw all those things through my shoulder. So she looked at me again. Number one, a sign of relief that, wow, thank God, stress. No washing of plate today. Wow, I can smell food. Wow, food is available. Thank God. God bless you. And coupled with the funny thing I was just doing in front of her, what I was putting on. But with the look on her face, I knew I had won her heart. The first look was like surprise. Hey, what's this? And looking through my shoulder, she saw everything that had been done in the kitchen. Wow. And I saw that lovely glow look on her face. I knew that, wow, but get it. Tonight, it's gonna be a good night. It's good night. It's gonna be a good night. So it was my creative and it actually paid off. Yes. So what happened? Right from the door post, we started our romantic move and could not even wait to get into the room. From the doorpost directly into the kitchen. And that was where the crazy love making ended. True and unusual, crazy creativity. Can you just see that? It was something else. I won't lie to you. It was very interesting. It was funny. I never knew it would work. I know my wife could have been like, baby, what's this? You shall like to do things that, yes, my wife can tell me, you shall like to do things that do not make sense. And I'll just laugh. Well, I will be disappointed because my plan did not work, but it worked out. Instead of, she was like, what is this? Wow, the container, that there was a form of fade transition, like, that kind of look. And I knew, I don't get this one. Tonight, you can't escape it. So, go and think about your own creativity. I'm not saying you should go and wear your own wife's pants, because if you are the big size one person and you go and slacken your wife's pants, you will buy 2 packs, I think, of 5, that's 10. But if it's going to work for you, yes, slacken the pants. Achieve your goal and go and buy another one. There are other creativity that we're going to talk about, but because of time, I will be stopping here. So, make use of those ones first, or you may not make use of my direct examples. What I'm just saying is that you should just try and be creative. Be very creative, and it's going to really help you. I won't lie to you. It's going to help you. But before couples can get to this stage, they must have been friends. You understand? If, let's say, both of you fought in the morning, or you don't have the freedom to talk to yourself to this level, you may not be able to do these things. You understand? So, as much as possible, each time I want to end my teaching, I always emphasize on being friends. Be your wife's friend. Be your wife's friend. There are many things you need to be to your wife. You need to be your wife's gist partner. You need to be your wife's friend. You need to be your wife's war. You need to be your husband's gist partner, your husband's friend, and your husband's prostitute. Yes. So you can't do those things outside, but do that to your wife. Do those things to your husband. and make your love life very interesting. It's just little things that you need to spice up your wedding, your marriage rather. You understand? These are things that you go and learn with thousands of naira just to make. These are the things that these people that are having hotbed, all these white people, they are doing. Just try them out. Don't consider if it's going to work out or not. You understand? And I know it's going to work out for you. But I promise us the next episode, because this slide is about 23 and this is the 12th, so the remaining will be shared with us over the weekend, I can promise us. But please tell your married friends about Sex Uncovered for Mr. and Mrs. Please. There are many marriages that are suffering because of all these little things. Tell them to join our private group while we are still building the Telegram group. They can use this URL on their browser, facebook.com/groups/REGEN Sex Uncovered, or on your Facebook application you can just search for REGEN Sex Uncovered. Join, we'll ask you some questions, answer those questions, we'll review them to be sure that you're married. And please go to our YouTube page, our channel, and subscribe. youtube.com/REGEN Relationship Clinic. It's straightforward. Just type it on your browser like Google Chrome, or even from your YouTube application, just type REGEN Relationship Clinic, or just use hashtag REGEN Relationship. You have a problem with your marriage, sexuality, you want us to counsel you, pray with you, send us a message on +234 080 3490 4282. You can even chat us on WhatsApp that we should add you to the Telegram group. If we still have space, maybe we remove some people from the WhatsApp group, we will add you. Or you can send your mail to regenrelationship@gmail.com. We are working on our officially hosted email, but our website is now working, regenrelationship.com. You can get lots of resources that we have been writing and that will continue to write. You can get stories. Follow me on all social media spaces, Damilare David, and follow my wife too, Olabisi David. God bless you. Your marriage is supposed to be happy. God ordained marriage. God invented sex, and He wants us to enjoy it to the fullest. God does not want us to fornicate. He doesn't want us to commit adultery. That's why He has given you your marital partner to explore the whole of it with, as long as there is a mutual consent. Bye bye, and have a very fabulous day. See you next week. Bye, and God bless you.